Chapter 12. Quillerin would have slept until noon on Sunday if it had not been for the Siamese whisker torture. When Coco decided it was time to get up, he hopped weightlessly and soundlessly onto the sleeping man's bed and lightly touched his whiskers to nose and chin. Quillerin opened his eyelids abruptly and found himself gazing into two enormous eyes, as innocent as they were blue. "Go away," he said, and went back to sleep. Again, the whiskers were applied, this time to more sensitive areas, the cheeks and forehead. Quillerin winced and clenched his teeth and his eyes, only to feel the cat's whiskers tickling his eyelids. He jumped to a sitting position, and Coco bounded from the bed and from the room. Mission accomplished. When Quillerin shuffled out of the bedroom, wearing his red plaid bathrobe and looking aimlessly for his pipe, he surveyed the living room with heavy-lidded eyes. On the coffee table were last night's champagne glasses, the Sunday paper, and Coco, diligently washing himself all over. "You were a bad cat last night," Quillerin said. "Why did you try to nip that pleasant girl who's so fond of cats? Such bad manners." Coco rolled over and attended to the base of his tail with rapt concentration, and Quillerin's attention went to the rug. There, in the flattened pile, was a full-length impression of Coki's tall, slender body, where she had sprawled for one dizzy moment. He made a move to erase the imprint by kicking up the pile with his toe, but changed his mind. Coco, finished with his morning chore, sat up on the coffee table, blinked at the newsman, and looked angelic. "You devil," said Quillerin. "I wish I could read your mind. That photograph you licked." The telephone rang, and he went to answer it with pleased anticipation. He remembered the congratulatory calls of the previous Sunday. Now a new issue of Gracious Abodes had reached the public. "Hello," he said graciously. "Quill, it's Harold." The tone was urgent, and Quillerin cringed. "Quill, have you heard the news?" "No, I just got out of bed." "Your cover story in today's paper. Your residence for professional girls. Haven't you heard?" "What's happened?" Quillerin put a hand over his eyes. He had visions of mass murder. A house full of innocent girls murdered in their beds. Their four-poster beds with pink side curtains. "The police raided it last night. It's a disorderly house." "What?" "They planted one of their men, got a warrant, and knocked the place off." Quillerin sat down unexpectedly as his knees folded. "But the decorator told me..." "How did this happen? Where did you get the tip on this house?" "From the decorator. From Mrs. Mitty, a nice little motherly woman. She specializes in, residences for girls. Dormitories, that is, and sorority houses. And this was supposed to be a high-class boarding house for professional girls." "Professional is the word," said Percy. "This is going to make us look like a pack of fools. Wait till the morning rampage plays it up." Quillerin gulped. "I don't know what to say. There's nothing we can do about it now. But you'd better get hold of that Mrs. Mitty, whatever she calls herself, and let her know exactly how we feel about this highly embarrassing incident. It's an incredible situation per se, and on the heels of the muggy swamp mess, it's too much." Percy hung up, and Quillerin's stunned mind tried to remember how it had happened. There must be an explanation. Then he grabbed the telephone and dialed a number. "Yes?" said a sleepy voice. "Cokie," said Quillerin sternly. "Have you heard the news?" "What news? I'm not awake yet." "Well, wake up and listen to me. Mrs. Mitty has got me in a jam. Why didn't you tip me off?" "About what?" "About Mrs. Allison's place." Cokie yawned. "What about Mrs. Allison's place?" "You mean you don't know?" "What are you talking about? You don't make sense." Quillerin found himself with a death grip on the receiver. He took a deep breath. I've just been notified that the police raided Mrs. Allison's so-called residence for professional girls last night. It's a brothel. Did you know that? Koki shrieked. Oh, Quill, what a hoot! Did you know the nature of Mrs. Allison's house? His voice was gruff. No, but I think the idea is a howl. Well, I don't think it's a howl, and the Daily Fluxion doesn't think it's a howl. It makes us look like saps. How can I get hold of Mrs. Mitty? Koki's voice sobered. You want to call her? Yourself? Now? Oh, don't do that. Why not? That poor woman. She'll drop dead from mortification. Didn't she know what kind of establishment she was furnishing? Quillerin demanded. I'm sure she didn't. She's a genius at doing charming interiors, but she's rather... Rather what? Muddle-headed, you know. Please don't call her, Koki pleaded. Let me break the news gently. You don't want to kill the woman, do you? I feel like killing somebody. Koki burst into laughter again. And an early American, she shrieked, with all those Tom Jones beds. Quillerin banged the receiver down. Now what? He said to Coco. He paced the floor for a few minutes, and then snatched the telephone and dialed another number. Hi, said a childish treble. Let me talk to Odd Bunsen, said Quillerin. Hi, said the little voice. Is Odd Bunsen there? Hi. Who is this? Where's your father? Go and get your father. Hi. Quillerin snorted, and was about to slam the receiver down when his partner came on the line. That was our youngest, Bunsen said. He's not much for conversation. What's on your mind this morning? Quillerin broke the news and listened to an assortment of croaking noises as the photographer reacted wordlessly. The newsman said with a sarcastic edge to his voice, I just wanted you to know that you may get your wish. You hoped the magazine would fold, and these two incidents in succession may be enough to kill it. Don't blame me, said Bunsen. I just take the pictures. I don't even get a credit line. 2 issues of Gracious Abodes and 2 mishaps. It can't be accidental. I'm beginning to smell a rat. You don't mean the competition? Who else? The Rampage hasn't got the guts to try any dirty work. I know, but they've got a guy working for them who might try to pull something. You know that loudmouth in their circulation department? He played on their softball team, you told me. You mean Mike Boma? Bunsen said. He's a creep. The first time I noticed him at the press club, I recognized the face, but it took me a long time to place it. I finally remembered him. He was mixed up in a circulation war in Chicago a few years back, a bloody affair, and now he's working at the Rampage. I'll bet he suggested the raid on the Allison house to the police, and I'll bet the Vice Squad was only too happy to act. You know how it is. Every time the Fluxion editorial writers run out of ideas, they start sniping at the Vice Squad. Quillerin tamped his mustache and added, I hate to say this, but I've got a nasty feeling that Koki may be involved. Who? This girl I've been dating works for Mrs. Mitty. It was Koki who suggested publishing Mrs. Allison's house, and now I've found out that she knows Bulmer. She said hello to him at the press club the other night. No law against that, Bunsen said. It was the way she said it, and the look she gave him. There's something else, too, Quillerin began, with evident reluctance. After the party at David Lake's last night, I brought Koki back to my apartment. Ho, ho! This is beginning to sound interesting. And Coco tried to bite her. What was she doing to him? She wasn't doing a thing. She was minding her own business when Coco made a pass at her head. He's never done a thing like that before. I'm beginning to think he was trying to tell me something. There was silence at the other end of the line. Are you listening? I'm listening. I'm lighting a cigar. You get remarkably detached when you're home in Happy View Woods on Sunday. I should think you'd be more concerned about this mess. What mess? Bunsen said. I think the Allison thing is a practical joke. It's sort of funny. The $500,000 theft wasn't funny. Well, Bunsen drawled, Boma wouldn't go that far. He might. Don't forget, there's $1 million worth of advertising involved. He might see a chance to make himself a nice bonus. And victimize an innocent man just to knife the competition? Nah, you've seen too many old movies. Maybe Tate wasn't victimized, Quillerin said slowly. Maybe he was in on the deal. Brother, you're really flying high this morning. Goodbye, said Quillerin. Sorry I bothered you. Go back to your peaceful family scene. Peaceful? Said Bunsen. Did you say peaceful? I'm painting the basement, and Tommy just fell in the paint bucket, and Linda threw a rag doll down the john, and Jimmy fell off the porch and blacked his eyes. You call that peaceful? When Quillerin left the telephone, he wandered aimlessly through the apartment. He glanced at the shaggy rug in the living room and angrily scuffed up the pile to erase the imprint. In the kitchen, he found Coco sitting on the big, ragged dictionary. The cat sat tall, with 4 feet pulled in close, tail curled around slightly, head cocked. Quillerin was in no mood for games, but Coco stared at him, waiting for an affirmative. All right, we'll play a few innings, Quillerin said with a sigh. He slapped the book, the starting signal, and Coco dug into the edge with the claws of his left paw. Quillerin flipped the pages to the spot Coco indicated. Page 1102. Hummock and hungrily, he read. Those are easy. Find a couple of hard ones. The cat grabbed again. Feed and feeling. 2 more points for me. Coco crouched in great excitement and sank his claws. May Queen and Meadow Mouse, said Quillerin, and all at once he remembered that neither he nor Coco had eaten breakfast. As the man chopped fresh beef for the cat and warmed it in a little canned consommé, he remembered something else. In a recent game, Coco had come up with the same page twice. It had happened within the last week. Twice in one game, Coco had found sacroiliac and sadism. Quillerin felt a curious tingling sensation in his mustache.